I'm gonna wait. So now I know it's on our Facebook page. I mean on our I'm going to see where we coming live at. All right, I'm seeing it on my page. I'm getting ready to share it with everybody. If you're gonna put your phone on mute, baby. Um, Hello, hello. As you come on in, let us know just who where you not where you calling from. Look, I think I'm on the phone. Let us know where you're watching us from. Please leave your name so we can know that who we're talking to. And Nadia, let me know as they put their name in. Did you let us know?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. We're gonna get started in a few moments. Ladies, let me know if you can see that I did share it. I shared it the wrong way though. So as you come on, let us know. We see you coming on. Just let us know as you come on. Give us your name, where you're reaching out to us from. And we're going to get started in a few moments. So we're going to wait a few moments as we continue to share. We're excited today about our subject. Our subject today is called seasonal depression. Also known as SAD, but season affective depression. We're going to talk about that today, especially because of the season that we are going in.
Brittany from South Carolina.
Hello, Brittany. How are you? April, that's your shout out, right?
Hey, Brittany.
Thank you for coming on with us, Brittany. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna. Oh, I see her now. All right, I see Brittany from South Carolina. All right, Brittany, love you. Love you tremendously. Oh, I see her now. All right, I see Brittany from South Carolina. All right, Brittany, love you. Love you tremendously. Am I causing a delay?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
I
We're
did
good.
hear a little feedback.
Got your volume down the other.
And so, Nadia, I'm going to shut my computer down so I won't get no delay. Tiffany, I see your mom on. Hi, Sister Clarice. Hello, how are you?
Hey, Mom.
Give a shout out to her. Matter of fact, she just had a birthday. Didn't she just have a birthday?
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Come on, let's tell her happy birthday. Awesome, 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 awesome. All right, we get ready to get started in a few minutes. Not anybody else that we need to shout out to before we get ready to get started?
No, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, she said yes, feedback. Clarice, is it still a lot of feedback? Let me know if it's still a lot of feedback. It still is. Okay, so I guess I'm just going to shut all my little gadgets down. All right. Nadia got me. She said, not now. Because I shut all my gadgets down, not now. All right. So we're actually getting ready to get started. So Nadia, I'm going to put the screen where I can't see those that's charming on. So again, thank you everybody for thank you, Sister Clarice. I appreciate it. So I want to thank everybody for charming in with us. I am going to introduce these great counselors. Not only are these counselors great, they are anointed and they love the Lord. Let's give a shout out to that by itself. Great anointed counselors, women after God's own heart. They love doing what they're doing. They love the fact that God has called them to change lives. And so we just want to let everybody out there know that Counseling is a ministry to us, is a mandate given to us. It is an assignment given to us by God. And we do not take that lightly. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go in and introduce, and ladies, if you guys want to say something else, you're more than welcome. But these counselors and I have been together, I want to say since 2014. Some of us have been there since 2014. So we have history with each other. We watch each other grow. We watched each other go through seasons. And so we're going to talk about things that we even dealt with at the same time. But we have been rocking with each other ever since. And so I don't know if we're going to have time to talk about that. Maybe we say that Dana and Tiffany and Anyette and April, Ashley, maybe we come back and do a live on how we got here and how we had to battle depression, how we had to battle anxiety, how we had to battle a whole lot of stuff. But we pushed through and we made it. And so what I like about this team is when you hear them talk, they are not talking just from book knowledge, right? So we either experience it within ourselves or within our loved ones, or we have dealt with it within our expertise. Amen. So again, thank you guys for joining us. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to introduce Tiffany Johnson. Tiffany is finishing up her master's, and she's going to be a CSW, right? Y'all help me with that, because I'm an LPC. I just know how to do my stuff, right? So is it CSW?
LCS, yes, ma'am.
All right. And so she's coming up on that in less than a year. So I'm so super excited about that. And then we have Dr. April Delandro, PhD. Awesome. Who is still in school, getting her another degree, right? We love education, getting her another degree. So I truly thank her tremendously. Not only that, she is a CEO in her own. Matter of fact, all of them are CEOs. Every last one of them have their own business. So we want to thank you, Dr. April Delandro. Come on, let's give a shout out for Dana Leaphart, licensed clinical. Yes, that's exciting. So these ladies are very well versed, very well educated, and I truly thank the Lord for that. We have none other than Nadia Thomas. Come on, let's put a shout out to her. Nadia is one of our administrators. She's I work with us with our IT, right? And so when y'all see stuff messing up and the sound ain't right, email her. Text her, tell her to get it together, right? So she's the one that keep us going and keep us looking beautiful. All right, come on, let's give a shout out to Miss Anyette Foster, peer recovery specialist, right? So excited, and she's also our office manager. She worked directly with us when we're dealing with clients. So she's usually the first one that they encounter before they encounter any of us therapists. So again, I want to give a shout out to her. Let's give a shout out to this wonderful counselor, Ashley Thomas, LPC. That's my heart. I'm an LPC. So truly, I'm telling you, she's a master. I always tell people when it comes to kids, she got all of us trumped, right? Because she knows how to get in there where people are having a hard time with young adults, with children. God has anointed Ashley where she can get right in. They fall in love with her, and we see major changes in their life. So who am I? I'm your pretty girl apostle, LPC, CEO of Virginia Therapy Services. So again, here we are. We're excited. And listen, if you have a topic and that you want to know more about, or you experiencing something within yourself or your family, and that you want us to come out and talk about, feel free to inbox any one of us, and we will definitely bring that live back, right? And so today, we felt it not robbery to talk about seasonal depression disorder. And I thought that was appropriate because of the season that we're going in. And so I do want to just kind of talk about that a little bit. And then you'll see the ladies begin to jump off and just bounce about talking about that. And so before we get started, I want to give a definition of seasonal depression. And so seasonal depression is a type of depression, right? So I definitely want you to understand that seasonal depression is a type of depression. That's why you sense and feel that depression, right? That occurs at a specific time of the year. And most commonly, you see it occur in the fall and in the winter. Okay, but don't get it misunderstanding, because it can also occur in the spring or the summertime. right? So again, I want you to understand it's a type of depression that occurs at a specific time of the year. And ladies, you can definitely jump in. And one of the things that about seasonal depression that we wanted to talk about, I normally start paying attention to my clients, to my family, and even myself when the time change. Why do I start looking and paying attention to my clients, especially if they're already dealing with depression? It's because we lose some of that sun, right? The sun goes down about 4 o'clock, right? So they would tell you 4 o'clock when the water's going home, right? Because I pay attention even with myself. And we'll come back and talk about that. What are some of the things that you can do? And so I want to put this out there too, that it is classified as a subset of major depression with seasonal patterns. And so I'm going to check with the ladies and see that they have anything another definition that they had before we jump into seasonal depression. Anyone at this time?
You covered it.
We covered it pretty good.
Yeah, you did.
All right, so I'm rocking really good, right? And so let's talk about seasonal depression. And again, most people start feeling it around when the sun goes down. And so Dana, help me with that. And I always like to say it's because we lose that sun, that vitamin D, right? Am I saying it right?
That's correct. And vitamin D does impact our hormones, which impacts our mood. And the biggest thing, like you said, when we lose the sunlight, our bodies are wired a certain way just from the beginning of time to usually settle down during the winter. You know, bears hibernate, you slow down your rhythm, and it's like a respite period supposed to be. But we live in a highly productive society where we're used to a lot of stimulation. And so we still seek that out, even when we're supposed to be calming down and withdrawing a little bit more during this season, because our bodies are designed to operate with the sun. Like you mentioned, they call it circadian rhythm. It's an eternal thing that when the sun goes up, I'm supposed to be up. When the sun goes down. And so now we have long periods of darkness, and we're fighting against that because we still want to be productive. And it just ends up being a serious imbalance, and it can take us really low if we're unaware and don't pay attention to how we should move, how we should conserve our energy instead of trying to force ourselves.
Dan, I love that, especially, and you guys can jump in a few minutes. You just said something so powerful that just helped me. You said our bodies are designed to operate with the sun. And so during that time is when we have the most energy. So are we saying that what happens is when our energy level go down, because we're so used to bumping and grinding, we push ourselves past our limit?
Yes, and we are addicted to certain things. We're addicted to stimulation, and we look for external things to give it to us. We don't understand how to balance ourselves out, to actually pulling back and giving ourselves permission to operate in sync with our body and mind. We are just uninformed.
Yeah. And I really like that, because so a lot of people, what they do, they will try to do things like energy drinks, hype up on the with the cappuccinos from Starbucks. I'm delivered. I'm delivered from Starbucks. So that's good. That is very, very powerful. You said we're addicted to stimulation. Can you expound on that a little bit more?
Well, for instance, think about COVID. We lost connection. We were unable to do the things we would normally do. So we look for substitute. Wow. And now that we're up and going again, we still need that stimulation. Mm-hmm. So there's social media, there's all kind of things that we use to boost ourselves. The problem is it's temporary. So we have to keep doing it, and we're dependent on external stimuli, when really we need to be in balance with ourselves and our bodies and listen.
Wow. I like that. Anyone else, be in balance with ourselves and listen. We can do a whole live on that by itself, because that's something, ladies, we have really been working on and learning balance and structure. And I won't go off on that. Y'all know I'll be done went off that way. Anybody else got anything they want to add?
I have a question from Shakita.
Okay.
She's asking, what does it mean when it occurs for her all year? Because she
Oh, wow.
functions in the evening.
Can you get that question one more time and a little slower?
What does it mean? She's, I guess, year round. She functions. She's more active in the evening. Her energy is higher in the evening. She's saying for her it's not seasonal. It's more or less all year round.
So she's hyped all year round, and she's experiencing the depression all year round.
Shakita, can you expound? I'm sorry.
So I see expound in Dana or anyone y'all want to ask me? Y'all want to jump on that?
I do
Then
want to.
that-
I'm sorry.
Alright.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to reiterate, though, with us speaking today about seasonal affective disorder, it is a type of, and just repeating what Ms. Ward said, it is a type of depressive disorder, mood disorder. And so when the season shifts, your attitude can shift, your thoughts can shift, your feelings can shift. And Dana might giggle a little bit because once I was introduced to the CBT Diamond, I have been holding on to that. What is CBT? It's called cognitive behavioral therapy. It is a type or a major type of therapy that is used, or therapies, that is used to treat different types of diagnoses. However, with the CBT Diamond, that it literally is, it just illustrates how our thoughts are connected to our emotions. Our emotions are connected to our physiological being, and our physiological is connected directly to our choices and our behaviors. So what can that look like with seasonal depression? So the thought is, I'm sad, or I don't feel like getting up. The emotion is, I'm sad. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm not really feeling like going out today. The physiological, you can feel it somewhere in your body. You don't feel like getting up out the bed. You don't want to necessarily go and take a bath, and you don't want to go to that Christmas dinner or luncheon. And then the behavior, typically it becomes like avoidance. So I'm just giving one type of example and just trying to give some type of illustration to show that all of it is interconnected. And so I just wanted to just kind of illustrate that.
That's good. That's good.
That's good. Because I think that one of the things that I see a lot is people don't recognize certain things as depression. Like April said, I mean, just not being motivated or avoiding. Apostle, you tell us about the energy levels. Be mindful of that at all times. It doesn't necessarily manifest as pure sadness. And a lot of people who don't know just associate, I feel sad. But really, like April was saying, I call it the I don't feel like it's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. I literally coined that. Me and another friend of mine, we call it, I got the I don't feel like it. Because you really don't feel like doing activities that you used to do. You don't feel like talking to nobody. Like, why you keep calling me? Get off my phone. You just irritable and just don't feel like being bothered. And people don't see that as depression, but that's a big, big red flag for possibly having the actual disorder.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Shakita, I kind of want to circle back with your question. And now, I guess if you're asking about depression, it might not be seasonal affective. It might be something different.
That's good.
So just as Ms. Ward stated the definition earlier, that seasonal depression is mostly in the fall and the winter. Yes, while you can have it in the spring and in the summer, we might have to look at something else. It might fall in a different category.
Yeah.
And it is very close to, I'm so sorry.
I love it. No, y'all go ahead. You know, I love this when we jump in like,
SAD is very close to other mood disorders. It's very close to major depressive disorder. It's very close to bipolar disorder and mania. And so a lot of the symptoms kind of intertwine. So it can get confusing. So don't come on here trying to self-diagnose yourself. You have to see a professional. And a lot of the symptoms, you may also need to speak to a doctor. Remember, just kind of referring back to, again, our thoughts, emotions are tied to our physiological being. Yes. There are a lot of medical disorders that look like a mental health disorder. So a lot of it comes to ruling out and kind of weighing and looking at, don't self-diagnose. Do not come into agreement with things. Allow those that have that professional background to come and help you determine what's going on and the best course of treatment.
Love it.
And one of the things too, April, to piggyback off of that is the signs for seasonal affective disorder in the fall look different than the
Yeah.
signs of seasonal affective disorder in the winter. I mean, in the summer and spring.
Yes.
So in the fall, you'll see things like oversleeping, appetite changes, and cravings for foods, typically the ones high in carbohydrates. So then you're going to see the weight gain, and then you're beating yourself up because of the weight gain. You know, the holidays are there and everything as well. Tiredness and low energy. But the spring and the summer looks more like trouble sleeping, like insomnia, as opposed to oversleeping, poor appetite, as opposed to eating more, loss of weight loss, as opposed to the opposite. You get more like agitation, anxiety, and increased irritability. And it's interesting because, April, again, piggybacking off of what you're saying, how it looks like other diagnoses. Because think about spring and summer, the manifestations of the symptoms look more like mania, and the ones in the winter look more like depression. So that, kind of goes to the bipolar thing.
Good. I like that. Y'all broke that. We really broke that down. I like that. What you guys call I don't feel like it. Hold on a minute now. I got a T-shirt that say that.
Uh-oh.
All right, so let's and you guys already dived into it about some of the major symptoms of seasonal depression. You guys already talked about a lot of it. Some mood related symptoms are, like you said, persistence, sadness of low mood, feeling of hopelessness and worthlessness and guilt, irritability, and anxiety. And so we didn't kind of hit that, but anxiety can be a part of that as well.
Mhm.
Of that seasonal depression. You ladies already talked about the physical and the cognitive symptoms are low energy or fatigue. Hopefully we have enough time where we can kind of give them some interventions, what they can kind of do. April, Dr. Delandro, I love how you let everyone know. Please make sure you go to a professional to be diagnosed. We're not diagnosing today. We're just giving you a really broad, bringing awareness of what this disorder looks like. So thank you so much for that. Right, Dana, you mentioned oversleeping, change of appetite, weight gain, difficult concentrating or making decisions, behavior symptoms. When you talked about isolation, withdrawal from social activities, reduced proactivity and motivation, and increase. And I am going to ask, one of you guys, or if all of you, just kind of jump on that about motivation. For about a good 6 months, maybe almost a year, right, Dr. April, that we've been talking about the momentum. And how can we discuss how this season depression affect your momentum? How does it affect your productivity? And also, give us some examples on the increased sensitivity of feeling rejection.
Increased sensitivity to rejection.
Rejection, yes, it increases. One of the behavior symptoms is increases sensitivity to rejection.
Well, one of the things we need, and I think we found this out again during COVID, is connection. We need that connection. There's studies that show that spouses that kiss their spouse when they leave the home to say goodbye and kiss them when they see them and greet them live 4 years longer than those who don't. Wow. People who have connections with friends and family and touch often, like if you hug somebody and you get 15 or 20 seconds of an embrace, it increases your serotonin levels.
Yes.
Those individuals also tend to live it adds years to your life. So think about that. When you don't get that interaction, even if it's a phone call, you really become very sensitive. You need it. Yes. But we don't understand what's going on. So the minute that we perceive we're being slighted, or perceive we're being rejected, it takes us further down because we're in a deficit for connection as it is. Wow. Sometimes we're just really busy. Sometimes we have that I don't feel like it. It could be various reasons, but we don't realize we're in a deficit. And so that affects us. It affects our serotonin levels. It affects our dopamine. It affects our mental and physical health. And we think it's normal,
That's good.
but it's
Yeah.
not. It takes off years of our life. And when I found that out, I was really amazed, like, wow, these are some simple things that actually add quality to our lives, not just now, but for the long haul.
Yes. And you know, I was actually looking for my notes because I did a teaching. I had to go back and find that on the lost connections and how lost connections have a lot to do with really majority of the diagnosis is depression, anxiety, bipolar, borderline personality disorder. And if
Mhm.
you look at a lot of them, what they try to do, those symptoms try to pull you to yourself and keep you by yourself. And since we're on this, I'm really big on not suffering alone.
Yes.
Right.
Isolating.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, not suffering alone, and it's time out for suffering in silence. And if we can just bring awareness to this, that it's okay to reach out for help. And because I love how you said that, Dana, I'm going to ask you to go back and say that again. The statistics that you put on about the importance of having connection,
Yes.
the importance of not isolating yourself, being alone by yourself, being in the dark by yourself. And I know you have to push yourself, right? And so we know it's like a push, right? And we tell people just push. If you could just take that one push, if you don't feel like hanging out with family, then this is something that I have really had my clients do, and they came back with a lot of that it did work for them, right? I would tell them to go to places like go to Starbucks and just drink coffee and do your schoolwork there, right? Go to the library and do your schoolwork there. So the thing is, even though you may not be engaging, but your body feel that connection. Oh, I felt the glory of the Lord on that. Let me bring it on in. You are not preaching today. You're not prophesying. But I'm telling you, it actually works. It actually works. Just getting a gym membership. You may not speak to nobody in the gym, but your body feels that connection. And it makes a huge difference. I just dropped interventions. If you just walk to the mall, one of the things I want to say, and I know I'm jumping, is you got to get out of the same environment that you're in. So if you're in a closed room, right, you got to get out that room. I don't care if you walk outside to the mailbox and back again.
Yes. It's very true.
You guys go for it, but go for it, Dana. And Dana, and give those statistics again, because I believe people need to hear that loud and clear. Oh my, can I just say this? The importance of
It
connection.
adds years to your life.
Yes.
Or it could just do the opposite, take years away if you're withholding and you are in a deficit. And I like the way you shared, pulled back into I don't feel like it. So you have to push because of the way our society is. And once you start getting depressed, you don't feel like doing this, but it's the very thing that's causing you to stay down. So it's counterintuitive. It's like the very thing I don't want to do, I need to do. And so it's almost like if you have been diagnosed with depression, that you have to do the opposite of what you feel like doing. Whatever you don't feel like doing, do the opposite. I don't feel like talking, do the opposite. I don't feel like eating, do the opposite. I don't feel like getting up, do the opposite.
Yeah.
And so it adds four years to your life to hug, to connect, to kiss the ones you love. You know, some people don't feel like, oh, I don't like to be touched. I don't like to be kissed. I mean, it doesn't have to, just a little bit, just somebody you do like.
Okay, somebody you do like.
Yeah, because it adds years to your life, which means that's how we are designed.
Yeah, we really are. Dana, that is really, really good. And anyone else, it does. That connection does add years to your life. It helps you feel better. And for those who don't know me, right, I am a person that don't like being around a whole lot of people. But those that in my circle, I can feel the difference when we're together, when we're hanging out, when we're laughing. So that connection, I get energy. So you're absolutely right about that. And you said something so key, Dana. Just find somebody that you do like.
Yes.
Yeah. It could be a baby. It could be a baby. I love children. I love them kissing on me. And wiping their nose and want to kiss. It's just something about that, about those babies loving on you. It can be that, right? So what about this? It can also be a pet.
I was just thinking that when you said, that's why I was smiling, because I was thinking of some clients that I have that do not care to be around people, but they have pets,
Yeah.
and that's their kids or their friend. And there's some pets that are so loyal, you don't
Yeah.
ever have to worry about them, dissing you or talking about you behind your back or whatever. So, use whatever you can to make connections. You
That's
have to have some kind of touch or connection, though, if you want to, have a quality of life and a long life, a healthy life.
Yeah, that is so important. We may need to put that out, Ashley, on one as a picture on a page, and just give that credit to Dana, because that is so key. Anyone else got anything to add to that part?
If I may, with the just piggybacking off what Dana did say, how important connectivity is, even just looking at Maslow's, that hierarchy of needs, those of us that remember that, it's not that far from being one of the basic needs.
Yeah.
You need water to be safe, and connection. You need love. That's how important it is. So as much as you need to be hydrated, you need to be loved. As much as you need to have protein and eat every day, you need to be and feel loved. You need to feel connected. And so that kind of back as well off of the symptoms that we were talking about earlier, where rejection and how powerful it is, it leads to the feelings and thoughts of worthlessness. And the behavior tied to that becomes isolation. So you think and you feel this, the behavior will become, I don't want to, or I don't feel like it. I love that, Dana, how you shared that. So I just want to reiterate how important it is. You need to be and feel loved. You need to, it is as important as our physical bodies need water. It is on that list.
I think we need to come back and do a live on that, what we name it, lost connection. I think we need not to let that go, because that's Dana again and Dr. April, that is powerful. So, and even how you just said, we need love, right? I need somebody to put that, whether you're on with us now, or you're going to come back and listen to the replay. I need you just to put in there, we need love. So I need you to know it's okay to be loved.
Yes, yes.
And
April mentioned Maslow's, the sense of belonging.
Yes.
Our tribe, the reason why we're together for so long and why it works, no matter what the ups and downs are, it's a sense of belonging. And one of us tends to go through our changes and pull back. I don't even know the words, Apostle. You may be able to help me with this, because, you're in the center of it all, holding it together many times. But we kind of get weird when we feel disconnected, we isolate, or we, kind of get busy or whatever. And the rest of the tribe is connected and we're kind of like out on the outskirts. We start acting really weird. And I know that's not clinical, but maybe you can put words to it better than I can.
You want me to put words or not?
My clients.
Yeah. But you're right. And I'm glad you brought that up, because, and we still talk about seasonal depression, because guys, like she was saying, we have been together so long and we really watch each other mental. Hey, I feel God on that one right there. Listen, ask God to send you somebody that's going to help check your mental.
Yes.
Find somebody that you can trust when you're feeling down, that you can trust, that can come say, hey girl, you need to get together. Brother, pull this in line right here. That something ain't right. And so that connection piece, and like you're saying, one thing that we have done as a team, one of us will always reach out, right?
Yes.
Like you said, we had our challenges, but when one go away, we all feel that. Right. And so we're working, pull them back in reference to that. So that part is very, very key. And so to those that are listening, I don't want you guys to think that we have not experienced anything for depression, seasonal depression, anxiety. We have been through that. We experienced rejection.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We have experienced loneliness, but because we are committed to one another. And like Ms. Dana said, we have a sense of I belong. We have a sense of I belong. And I think that is, again, that has a lot to do with a lot of like with depression. I say all the time, you know, with bipolar personality disorder, really all of them. One of the things is that I've noticed that when a person don't have purpose, they won't have momentum.
That's good. That's good.
And that's what these diagnoses, hoping that you don't find your purpose, hoping you don't find, I like to say, a tribe. We are a tribe, right? And I think that would work very much for us because we are a tribe, and we do care about each other tremendously. We don't do all that hugging, y'all. I don't do all that hugging with them. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now.
I do, but
She loved the hug. I'm like, just touch
I
me.
love kiss on the cheek, everything.
Any questions, Nadia, before we move on? Okay, so listen, I did want to share this. My note says, why does seasonal depression appear more in the fall and in the winter? So I'll just dump it out there, and then they can jump. One of them said environmental factors,
Mm-hmm.
right? Shortened days. Fall and winter have fewer daylight hours, which influence the biological rhythm. Dan, you was touching on that, right?
Yes.
And neurotransmitter levels. Ooh, that was a mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
The weather change. And have you noticed, like when it's cloudy, gray days can also amplify the feelings of loneliness and isolation. Anybody want to add to that? Or we want me to keep going?
If you live further from the equator, I found out it appears more common for people who live far north or far south of the equator, and it's because of the reduced sunlight, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
In a family history, if you have a family history, your blood relatives suffer from depression.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't deal with it all year round, so you don't think you have it, but you'll be have a more of a tendency to suffer from seasonal depression if it runs in your family, depression or bipolar or something like that. And if you have major depressive disorder or bipolar, it'll get worse during the fall and the winter months. So you'll notice that if you already know that you have this, you want to just kind of look out for that time of year because it may intensify your symptoms.
Yeah.
And also the weather. Oh, go ahead, Tiffany. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No, I was gonna say another thing is a lot of people have lost a lot of loved ones around this time of the year too, so that can affect them as well. We're going into the holidays, and where you still your family, some loved ones are not here anymore, so a lot of people are still dealing with that grief and the pain of somebody not being there. So every year
that's huge.
Worse because either you seek the help or you're trying to medicate it your own self. But that's the big thing that I've seen with a lot of my clients recently. They lost loved ones or they're not connected to certain people anymore. So now there's that room for depression, a lot of isolation, like we talked about earlier. And like Ms. Ward said earlier, watching my clients because I saw when it switched and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I'm like, oh yeah, season done changed. Looking at the worthlessness and then looking at even possible self-harm because you got to watch that too.
That's true.
A lot of our young people do a lot of self-harm that either we can see or we can't see. So something as well to look out for.
So Tiffany, come and you guys can jump in, kind of elaborate a little bit on the self-harm. Because we may have some parents as here or even just adults when you talk about self-harm. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So self-harm can look like self-sabotage and not eating could be a big thing. Going all day not eating, and then when you finally eat, your stomach is upset, your head hurting, your body is weak. For children, it could be cutting, it could be burning. It's hard to kind of find if they're cutting or burning. The only way you would see it is on their arms, their inner thighs, or their legs, or certain parts of their body. They'll cut with a sharp object. It could be a knife. It could be a blade of some sort. Razor, yes, a razor.
Eraser.
Yes,
eraser.
A razor, like like we shave.
No, a pencil eraser. They can mark themselves with razors. Yeah.
Okay, that's not know that. And then also just listen to what they're saying. A lot of kids will say they're tired. They'll be in their room more. They'll close the door. There's a lot of anger, there's a lot of lashing out, there's a lot of talking back, how a lot of parents say it, but really it's something stimulated there. So everything is not always our children have attitudes, they're going through something eternally. So we can't
That's
just
good.
them,
That's good.
punish them and try to make them feel even worse. Let's ask questions. How was your day today? Did you sleep well last night? What did you do at school today? What did your teachers talk to you about? Did you connect friends? Anything of that nature. Because a lot of teenagers, young people, even adults go through it, and sometimes it's kind of hard to see. But if you pay attention, you can catch on to it and ask questions and dive deeper into it.
Yeah, that's so good, Tiffany. Man, that is probably the best thing that I've heard all day.
That's good.
Because it's missed so much. It's missed, and it's a cry for help because they do not have the vocabulary or the insight, the maturity to be able to tell you what's wrong.
Right.
And they don't know how we as adults are going to react.
Yes.
So it comes out, like you said, as an attitude. It comes out in these other ways. And you're right. The first go-to is, I'm going to check you. You're not going to do, it makes it worse. So I'm so glad that we know these things now and that we're more informed and that we're sharing this, because when we came up, or even when I was raising my daughter, I didn't know. And I feel bad about some things that I didn't recognize at the time that I may have really made worse or caused more trauma because of not knowing. So this is important, what we're saying, what we're sharing.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for that. So this is another one. Why does seasonal depression appear more in the fall and the winter? And everyone wants to expound on this. It says biological response to darkness. Long periods of darkness increase the melatonin, leading to drowsiness and lack of energy. That one?
Yeah, just like I said, how our bodies are wired. Melatonin is what it slows you down, makes you sleep, because it's thinking that it's winter. It's thinking that it's nighttime when we sleep. It's the way our rhythm goes. And so, Apostle, this reminds me of you saying, there's not enough light in here. It's dark in here. You come in the house and turn the lights on, or we be on the live. You'd be like, why is it so dark in there? Because you open the windows, let the sunlight in. Yeah. Because you are aware of how our bodies react, and that usually is a symptom of too much melatonin, depression, or what have you, that's going to keep us down. Yeah. So that's really key.
Yeah, I definitely love that. And being that you said that, that's one of the things when I am counseling, because everybody know now we can counsel in person or we can counsel virtual, right? I favor in person, but how many know the way the world is now, a lot of people like virtual. And so the first thing I look at is the light in your in the room that you're in. I'm scanning your room. Right. And so I always tell my clients, they come and it's dark. Let's put some light on, open up the blinds. So I'm very aware of that. And I teach them that if you let some light in, that your mood will change. It really will. So guys that's listening to us, pay attention to that. I want you to pay attention to how light the room that you're in is. Right. I don't know if that grammar was right. But anyway, if you're always in a room, even though it's wintertime, the sun is still shining.
Yes.
Open up your blinds. Let the sun come in, right? If you got a screen, a glass door, screen door, even though it's let the sun come in. You guys can write this down, or you can go on Amazon and order what we call daylight. Right? It's a therapy daylight that you can order. It's DAYLIGHT. It's a therapy light that, and they come in ranges of prices. They're not expensive. You can get them very inexpensive. And what happens, and I keep that around me. I keep a light around me, because even though I'm working, and they would come into my office, like this is my home office, and they would come into my office and they got to wear sunglasses. You're like, right? I know you guys see the light, but it is 100 times lighter in my, if you come into the actual room that I'm in. So you would have to wear sunglasses, right? Why do I do that? Because I know my body. So what I'm doing is making my body feel that it's still getting that light that it needs.
Yeah.
I don't. You let me know if I'm saying this wrong. In other words, I'm tricking my body to make my body think that they're still getting the
Yeah,
B12 from the
the
sunlight.
vitamin D, yes.
I'm sorry, the vitamin D. Thank you for that. The vitamin D. So even though, and that's one thing that light will do, is still give your body that vitamin D. Thank you, because I've been saying B12. I take my vitamin D.
That's for energy.
Yeah, that's good too.
Well, you know,
It does affect that too, though.
yeah.
Sunlight does affect your B12.
It does. It definitely does. And so that is so important. So something simple that you guys can do at home is pay attention to how much light you let come in, right? I just heard somebody say, "Oh, that prophet done kicked in." That I stay in the dark because the light hurt my eyes. I need you to begin to increase the light, because I promise you, it's going to increase your mood. Yeah. And anybody else want to add to that?
Yes, I do. That, like you just mentioned, that is a specific intervention in therapy where they do the therapy light, and it almost instantly boosts your mood. But even just going to treatment for light therapy, several sessions, you can get undiagnosed with seasonal depression, depending on the amount of light that you get and the number of sessions. I just want to indicate that too. That's just so important. So that is a specific intervention. Now, don't go outside and just stare at the sun. That's not necessarily what we're saying. There are specialized therapeutic light for light therapy. But do go outside if you can, at least 10, 20, maybe even 30 minutes a day. Like you're saying, that is an intervention. Being exposed to the light, that is an intervention. Specifically though, with light therapy, the light goes directly into your eyes so that it can send those signals in the brain to shift your mood. So light is so imperative for all of us. So no, you're on it. That was a specific intervention.
I'm big on light. And to back up what Dr. April was saying. So again, vitamin D deficiency, reduced sunlight lowers a vitamin D production, which plays a role in your mood regulation.
Yeah.
Right. So we just think that piece is really, really good. Anyone else? Nadia, did we have any more questions? I do want to jump on, and Tiffany had mentioned very eloquently about how the holiday related stress or financial concerns, right? It can increase or exacerbate the symptoms, right? And as Tiffany was talking, I wrote a note because Tiffany brought in the grief, right? And when she brought in that grief, I thought about and my note was addressing. Oh my God, my note, anniversaries. When I mean anniversaries, grief anniversaries, right?
Yes.
What you lost. And so that's something also to look into that we need to be careful with as well. Because a lot of people would say, I lost my parent, my daughter, my child, whatever that loss that was. Start paying attention to whether it's even in the summer, because again, it can happen in the summer. Let's pay attention to those anniversaries that cause grief. And then so we can go in and have you for us to check and see if there's a prolonged grief that's going on, because that have a lot to do with your energy level as well. So definitely wanted to put that definitely out there. Any more questions or comments?
I was thinking that we all have our own unique styles. April mentioned how she really clings to cognitive behavioral therapy, but I was thinking maybe we could share to some of the people watching some of the interventions that we have used ourselves or seen work with our clients.
Yes.
One of them was the light therapy, but there's other things that we suggest. So maybe we can just all share, because we have different demographics and different therapy styles.
I love it. So that's good. So so we're gonna start with Miss Dana. So she gave us a suggestion. I gave mine, y'all. One of mine was the light. The light is very important to me. And I would say this. Another thing that's important to me is warmth. I have to be warm.
That's good.
And so if I walk into a room where it's warm, my energy will increase very well at the same time. So for me, is that light therapy. The other thing for me is B12. I keep a good eye on my B12 levels. I make sure that I stay on my vitamins, right?
Mhm.
That's another good thing to do,
That's
guys,
really good.
is to go to your PCP and have them check your B12 level.
Mhm.
It's another one, and I want to say, and your D level. Yeah,
Mhm.
sometimes they put you on what we call sister cow. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
I want to get those definitely checked.
Iron, your iron levels.
Yes, yes.
Right.
So you definitely want to make sure those are checked. So those are some of the things that I do. And another thing too that everybody, that my team know that I'm really big on, is I pay attention to burnout.
Mhm. That's good.
Right, in this season, you have to pay a very, when you know that this is your season that you deal with depression or season depression, pay attention to your burnout. Pay attention to who saps energy from you. Pay attention to how you expending your time, right? So let me just give you something that I honestly do, and I encourage my team to do, right? And they know that this is very important. So for me, I work when I have energy. My energy kicks in at 5 o'clock in the morning. So 5 o'clock in the morning to about 3 o'clock, I'm up there, right? So I'm working that energy. That's where I'm getting my work done, right? At 3 o'clock, by 4 o'clock, I'm coming down, right? And that's in this time of the year. That's when that usually starts happening when the time go back. Now in the summertime, I kick it with you to 9 o'clock in the night because it's still be daytime.
Mhm.
I pay attention to that, and not only for me, I also make sure with my staff. So my staff know by 4 o'clock they should be leaving the office. They will get in trouble if they still in the office after 4, because that's important to me, that their energy level is staying. So that's another thing that I do. Find out the time when you have the most energy, and that's when you work. That's when I do my schoolwork. I'm still in school. I'm working on my second PhD. So I do my schoolwork from 5 o'clock in the morning to 7 in the morning, right? And so I'm working. And for those who know counselors, we got a lot of notes to do. I do them in the wee hours of the morning, because guess what? My energy level is high. So that's one thing those are some of the things that I do. So I hope that helped. But be okay. Don't feel guilty when your body tells you to bring it down, right? So about 4 o'clock, you should be working yourself to bring it down or bring your energy level down. So that's something that I have. I don't know who wants to go next.
I'll go next, but one of the things that you said about knowing when to bring it down and not feeling guilty, there's such a push towards productivity. There's so much pressure that then we start putting that pressure on ourselves. And then we do start guilt tripping and feeling like, well, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, those intrusive thoughts. So it's like you have to rewire your brain to reset how you think,
Yes.
so that you can give yourself permission to kind of pipe down when needed. But the
And
other
let
thing,
me jump in. Let me jump in with that, because while you were saying that, because that's why most people can't sleep at night, because of what you just said. Their brain keeps going. So you got to give yourself permission to stop, because when you don't, you get in a bed. You ever gotten in bed and your brain just keep going, and your brain tell you got this work to do, like you were saying, Dana. You got to give yourself permission to stop, because then your brain keep going. I hear a lot of people say their brain don't shut off. You know why your brain don't shut off? Because you don't give yourself permission to stop. Okay.
I love it. I love it. The other thing I was just going to say is very simple. You all are aware of this, but maybe we don't do it as we should. Is to move. You have to move. Most of us have jobs where we sit. Even some of us out in the field, we're not moving. Sometimes we can get out with our clients and walk, or maybe we have to just take the time to go to the gym or whatever. You must move your body. That also adds years to your life, as opposed to those who don't. It lifts your mood. It's just overall what we have to do to keep our bodies and our minds healthy. Move something.
Absolutely right. And going to the gym do add years to your life. Let's say that you can't afford a gym membership. Then you can go outside, and I remember for years I would go outside, and my driveway is long. In the morning, run to the end of my driveway like 3 or 4 times, right? And you don't have to worry about doing gym membership. If you got YouTube, and I know just about everybody do, these cell phones, don't play with me. You can pull up exercise for free. It's a matter of, like you're saying, Dana, move. I love that. Thank you for that. Right. Anyone else? So we can get ready to close out. It's 1:54. Guys, we're gonna be gonna shut off at 2 o'clock. So let's hear from everybody else. Um
I
I was gonna say, oh,
Miss Costa.
okay. I was gonna say, where we were talking about connection, which is the main thing, where you were talking about love and connection. When you
Yes.
have someone that you know, but that you can buddy up with, that you can trust, is gonna help. That will motivate you as well. You can motivate each other to do
Yes.
things. Someone that you can partner with during this
Yes.
time. That's
Yes.
gonna help push you and help give you that drive to keep going.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Accountability, in other
Yeah.
words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that goes back to and we can really dive into that, but we'll look at that later, is start learning how to at least trust one person. Ask God to send you that one accountability partner. Right? We got, I don't know, it was about 10 of us. We hold each other very well accountable. Yes. Come on, Miss Ashley, let me hear from you.
I actually wanted to talk about what it looks like in adolescence. I think the biggest thing that we forget, a population that people don't realize that has SAD really, really badly,
Wow.
is the college population.
Mm.
Wow. Yes, that's
Especially
good.
during this time frame, what it'll look like is their grades are, slipping. What it'll look like is like they just can't seem to get it together. It looks, people think it's more, or they're overwhelmed because of school, but no, people are forgetting that they experience this, that their bodies experience as well, especially if they are away from home. They don't have that connectivity, and they're also in that, think about the college age and what's going on at that point. So if they need all this energy to go to classes and they can't do it, it's a little harder for them. So then, of course, if you don't have energy, if you don't have your B12, if you don't have, that vitamin D, you can't think straight sometimes.
That's right.
You don't
That's
have
good.
that sleep. Your basic needs as a human aren't being met. So of course,
Right.
that's why you see a lot of those things that, that happen to these college students, where you'll hear about the suicide, you'll hear about different deaths in there, but people don't realize that that is a big portion of SAD. It's in the college population, especially for your first year student. So that's why it's more important that we do have to kind of check in. They will isolate, especially in their dorms. They're kind of still meeting people, so they don't have that connectivity yet. So they'll probably stay in their dorms all day. It'll look like they're not calling home as much. You'll just think they're having fun, but no. Parents really, sometimes we forget that that they have feelings and physiological advances as well. So just kind of watching out for that. And yes, they might be having that, they want to be more independent, but still kind of letting them know, hey, I'm there. I'm here if you need it. And kind of just pushing them out. And like you said, that light is a really big thing. Getting them to work out, getting them to get into something, especially if they're on campus at school, finding something that they can find some connectivity to.
I love it.
I
I love it.
I
Good
was
stuff,
looking,
Ashley.
yeah, it is good stuff. I was looking, Shakita said something very powerful, but I was trying to find it, but that's okay. I'll go back. I think she said something, Nadia's on there, but she says broken parents hurt children. Did I read that? Or Ashley was talking?
Yes, ma'am. Broken parents break children.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. And we will come back and do a parenting class on that. Love tremendously. Love you guys. That's what I get. Close my computer. I went back being nosy. All right, guys. It's we got a few. It's 1:58. We got 2 more minutes. Miss Tiffany, did you want to give yours? Dr. April, did you give yours?
I can give mine real quick.
Okay.
Like Miss Ward said earlier, and I think everybody pretty much said it. Watch your vitamin D levels, your B12, B6. Stay connected with people. Something Miss Dana said earlier, and I started laughing because I used to do a dance party every night before I went to bed. I would dance, listen to music, and just release everything that was on the inside that I've been holding in all day, whether I'm happy, mad, frustrated. But getting back to that, and even recently, it's funny. With my son, I'll be dancing and he'll look like, "What are you doing?" It's like, I can't wait till you can stand together. But
yes,
moving your body, even going outside and just staying in the sunlight. With my clients, I do it all the time. Come on, get out the house with me. Let's go walk. Come on. So that journaling is a good way too.
Yes.
Listening to music, and that's all I got.
Awesome. Did we get everybody?
Very quickly, my biggest thing is just challenging the thoughts.
Yes.
For me, I, in a very healthy way, love to talk to myself. I have to kind of talk myself through the day. It is
And
what
do?
it is. But just talking myself through those automatic negative thoughts. And
That's good.
one thing that also leads to that, I'll just say just a real world example is I really don't have to do that today. Or I don't think I'll get to it eventually, and it just leads and builds up. That is procrastination. So what I have to do, and what I do, challenge others to do, is to really challenge their thinking. So just challenging your thoughts, because again, your thoughts affect your emotions going to affect your behaviors and that whole thing. So just kind of starting where it starts at is with the thoughts.
Okay, so ladies, before we go, we want to give them one therapeutic advice. So mine is this: if you don't have a counselor, please, it's okay to get counseling. It's okay to get a counselor. If it's just for talk therapy, right? It's okay to do that. Everybody needs somebody to talk to, right? So it's okay to get a counselor. Reach out, find a counselor that works very well for you. Make sure that your counselor is compatible to you, because even though we all are counselors in our own right, educated in our own right, not every client is going to be with a Dana Leaphart or a Dr. April Delangelo or a Brenda Ward, right? So find a counselor that works for you, that hears you, and that when you leave, you feel heard, you feel empowered, and you're excited for your next session.
I love it.
Dr. April, anyone for anything for we need, anything to leave with the people.
Again, so just piggybacking off what you said, it's okay if you are already working with somebody. And like she said, if you're not compatible, it's okay to fire your therapist and get somebody else. And I'm saying that very gently. If it's not working, it's okay. There are countless other therapists and counselors out there that you can find someone that you're compatible with.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. People have fired me, and I have fired people.
Yes.
We okay with that. All right, Miss Tiffany.
I'm in agreement with what everybody said, especially what Dr. April just said. If it's not helping you grow or get you where you want to go, it's okay to let that therapist go and find somebody that can work with you, and just be okay with that. It's your mental health is what you need, not what the therapist needs. So just remember that it's about you.
I like that. It's not what your therapist need, is what you need. That's a t-shirt right there. All right, Miss Foster.
Yes, I'm in agreement with what everyone else said, but also too, like Miss Tiffany said, is about you. So you have to do what's best for you. You have to find that therapist that fits for you. And don't think that whatever you share is they're going to look at you a certain type of way. Nobody is going to judge you for whatever you say. Be okay with sharing whatever you want to share, because that's what your therapist is there for. It's to help guide you and to give you that outlet that you need in order, so that way you can be heard and express whatever you're going through. So no, don't hold back because you feel like, they're going to judge you for what you said. No, that's a safe place with your therapist.
Yeah. You have a right to be heard. You have a right to be heard. All right, Miss Ashley Thomas.
Piggybacking off of what everybody said, yes, it's okay to find the right therapist for you. And also, don't be afraid to share what's going on with you. That's what this is for. Even if you found yourself in these symptoms, it's okay to find somebody to talk to about it. You are okay. You are going to be okay.
Yeah. I like that. And she mentioned it, the symptoms. There are therapists. A lot of us have things that we specialize in. Like my specialty is depression. My specialty is women, and anxiety, borderline personality disorder. So you find that therapists that specialize in what it is that you're dealing with, right? One of my specialties is helping you find your purpose and pushing you to your purpose. So that's one of the main things that I know I'm called to do as we work through some of the challenges that you're going through mentally. All right, we're going to let Miss Dana Leaphart finish us out.
Well, I think that so much has been said. I don't have anything to add. I think we could sum it up by saying self-care.
Yes.
Cannot drink from an empty well. We tend, especially, people who are givers or people who have a lot to do, pour out, but don't tend to pour in. So that kind of is a catchphrase for everything we've been sharing.
Yeah. Good. So again, thank you guys for taking your time, giving us your time. We do not take that lightly. Thank you for letting us come into your home with you, whether you're in your car, whether you in Walmart. Thank you guys for allowing us to come in. So again, please feel free to inbox me if there is a specific topic that you want us to talk about. Just let us know. And then we'll see you guys next month. God bless you. Love you tremendously. This is your pretty girl apostle. Talk to you soon.